friends, what's going on? Cole here, aka Trans Spirit Indigo, transgender human being having a spiritual experience. You know, let's turn that around. A spirit having a human experience. A grown indigo kid, what's going on, everybody? I was just thinking about what it was like growing up transgender. A lot of times I've been known to bury those memories, those thoughts, those emotions. But as I've said before, what we resist persists. And it's always good to let past traumas and let limiting beliefs go as much as we possibly can. Growing up transgender was very, very difficult. I'm not going to lie. I'd honestly say that I've had more difficult times as a kid not knowing what transgender is, and just thinking that I was all alone in the situation that I was experiencing. I kept my feelings a secret for half of my life. I am 35, so I didn't come out and say anything about it till 20 years old. I didn't realize what it was till 20 years old until a friend told me to go look up the word transgender. For the longest time, my friends said, Cole, it's as if you don't have a gender. It's like you're a boy and a girl all wrapped into one, and we all joked about it and we all laughed. Years later, I come to find out a lot of people feel this way. Because of society, the constructs of it, the social structures, the limiting beliefs, we didn't think that it could even possibly be a thing. It never crossed our minds. Years ago, I just thought there was boy and girl, and because I felt like a boy in a girl's body, that there was something wrong with me. That's the thing. There's nothing wrong with me or with anyone that feels that way. This has been going on since the beginning of people, of human beings. We weren't taught this in schools. Maybe some people were, and that's great. But in the majority of schools, and I know the schools that I've gone to, we were never taught that transgender was even a thing, that gender is fluid, that people don't always fit into these brackets and boxes. And labels can be awesome in a way because they can help us communicate with other human beings. They can help us describe more of what we're experiencing. However, they can also destroy us because people can feel worthless when they don't fit into the boxes of society. When I stepped out of those limiting beliefs is when I truly started to experience happiness. Because growing up, I just always felt like I wasn't good enough, or I was just too weird for anyone else because of the way that I felt. I always felt that I was in the wrong body. And it was devastating, especially as a teenager. I'm seeing all these people start to date, have their first kiss or their first experience. And I just felt like I couldn't be a part of that. Even prom, it's like all I wanted to do was wear a tux and go with the girl that I was secretly, madly in puppy love with, my first love. She didn't know till years later. I was too scared to tell her. I was too scared to be myself. And I'm very grateful that eventually I decided to be myself. And a big part of that was realizing that the love that I had for her felt so genuine from my heart that how could it really be that bad of a thing? Growing up, the church that I had gone to, the society I'd been around, growing up, I always thought that being gay was a bad thing and it was wrong. And some people still believe that. I don't believe that. And I haven't believed that since about 14 was when I I decided it wasn't necessarily wrong. I was on the fence with it. However, I was still too scared to say anything. But I tell you, by the time I turned 20, I was just like, no, this can't be wrong. What I've been going through and beating myself up and fearing burning for eternity, that's wrong. That's wrong. Living in fear every day. There's something wrong about that. And I'm, again, super grateful I followed my gut with that and decided to just live my life the way I felt necessary to survive, to be happy. And it wasn't, that easy. Like, I just decided that I was going to be openly transgender and tell everyone. That's when it got really difficult for me personally. But some of you know, during that same time period, I was trying to self-medicate with alcohol, with liquor, hard liquor, and that was destroying me. So there was a lot going on at one time, and I had to get through a lot of different things to finally be at a more happy point. Even to this day, almost 8 years sober from alcohol, I still struggle with it sometimes. I do. Sometimes I'm just like, oh man, if I was biologically male, a lot of things would be easier for me. But then I think but then I can't help to think, but you're not biologically male. You are a male, and you're gender fluid. You represent that. I feel I represent that. I am a gender fluid person. There's many of us on this planet that feel this way. And it's time for us to stand up and speak out about it if we feel so inclined. Because there's there's generations coming. There's young kids that felt the exact same way I felt at 5 years old. Oh, I feel like I'm supposed to be a boy. It's time to set aside the limiting beliefs and saying things like it's a phase or tomboy or whatever. Yes, some people are the token classic tomboy. I'm using a lot of quotes in this video. I just like to do this. Anyway, you'll come to find I'm a pretty goofy person. It's time to put all those social constructs aside and just let people be who they are. Hats off to all the parents, the families, the teachers, everyone out there who are encouraging kids to be themselves. If a girl wants to play with a boy toy, or a boy wants to play with a girl toy, there I go, my quotes again. But let it be. Let people be who they are. I say this because if I had been in a reality as a child where I was more so allowed to dress as a boy, do boy things, and not have it be a big deal from the world around me, I would have grown up a lot happier and hadn't gone through all that. But it was the times. Things are very different now. People didn't know any better then. We progress as human beings. And I'm okay with what I went through. I'm just sharing it. Sure, it was difficult. It's extremely difficult. But I'm grateful and I'm blessed to have had very supportive parents. They didn't really try to put me in boxes. It was more so society. It was more so going to school and being told, you must stand in boy line or girl line or whatever that means. Whatever, whichever line you stand in. I was standing in my own line, so to say. It always, being younger and transgender, it was a trip. It was, everything felt opposite of what it should be. It's like, at 16, I'm in love with this girl, but I felt like I couldn't tell her, and I'm watching her date boys and have crushes, and she's telling me about it because I'm her best friend, and I wanted to hear about it because she's my best friend, but I love her, and it was so difficult because I think that was probably the most difficult time of my life, other than the drinking, was being a teenager and falling in love for the first time and just feeling like it wasn't validated. All these other people they're falling in love for the first time, having their first dates. Their parents are so excited to, and everyone's so excited. It's such a magical thing. Love for the first time. Going to a school dance or going to prom or whatever it is. It's important to people in that teenage age. And it all just felt like it wasn't validated for me. It felt like what I was feeling didn't matter. Because I was told that was wrong overall. And that's what I told myself too. I had this limiting belief that being gay was wrong. And when I finally went within and I felt the presence of God, the presence of angels, the presence of spirit guides, it was telling me elsewise. When I followed my heart and my gut, it was telling me elsewise that I needed to be happy and live my life. And it also wasn't right to pretend to be somebody I'm not. Because I was trying so desperately to be a heterosexual female for a while there. Like I wanted to be normal. I felt like this young man, but everyone was calling me young lady. That's one of the most difficult parts. Is you don't feel like you get to even be alive when you're going through that gender dysphoria and people aren't recognizing. That's a reason I can't tell you how much it means to me, the people that take the time to ask your pronoun, to know who you are. Because when you don't, and when you don't respect somebody for how they identify, you're basically saying in so many words, you don't exist. You're not validated. You're not real. I see you as I see you, and that's it. That's an unfortunate, closed-minded way to look at life. And being transgender, on a bright note, it helps you to open your mind and open your eyes. I wanted to talk a little bit today about the difficult parts growing up and how difficult it was to fall in love for the first time and feel that I couldn't say anything. Everybody's experience is different. Some people are openly trans at 16. They fall in love for the first time and they tell somebody that they love them and they're trans, and that's great, but then the person just doesn't love them back anyway. Everybody experiences heartbreak in life. It's how we learn to appreciate love when it really comes, when real love comes, when mutual love comes. I, for years, blamed the lack of love or romantic relationships on being trans. Oh, if I wasn't trans, I'd be in all these great relationships. That's not necessarily true, and I'm realizing that now. I had all these limiting beliefs that I couldn't find anyone because I was trans. I had all these limiting beliefs that I couldn't be happy and that I had to stay in the closet and not tell anyone who I really was at the risk of everyone being mad at me or hating me. When we work through all of these things inside of us and we release them for the greater good, for our greater good, to live the lives that we're meant to live, that's the happiness, y'all. That's the happiness. That's why I feel compelled to share and put this on YouTube, because it's helped me out so much to realize a lot of these things after going through at least 20 years, just 20 years of hell, of feeling trapped, of feeling misunderstood. And don't get me wrong, people still misunderstand a lot of the times, but you get to the point where you don't care, because not everyone, transgender or not everyone's always going to understand you. And that's okay. Not everybody's on your same vibration. You don't vibe with everyone. That vibrational, energetic frequency I talked about a couple videos ago. Not everybody's going to be on the same vibration with you, and that's okay. You don't necessarily want to be on everyone's vibration. You know what I mean? So shine your light. Be you. Be happy. Bad days are going to come, but that's okay, because you're a warrior and you'll make it through those days. You call upon your guides. You call upon your higher beliefs, higher source, whatever you'd like to call it. I call it God, source energy, the universe. Call upon help and help is there. In the meantime, have a great day or evening, wherever you're at, and know that I have love for you. If you have any questions, you need to just vent about your trans experience, or you need to vent about seeing a different experience from maybe a transgender friend, leave that comment below, and it's always good to see you. We'll see you next time.